Hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. So, Pisces, let's get jumping into this. I promised Pisces would be my first zodiac that I did today. I wanted to get you guys way earlier, but this is the time I had today. So, here we go. Start out with a card of confession. Now, because we're in the Egyptian temple right now, this is the backdrop I like to use when I say let's go into the temple. Let's get to the kind of like a dig deep what's in the innermost chambers of one's, the catacombs of one's mind or the innermost chambers of one's heart. So let's keep that in mind. And we start out with confession. Religion is for people who are afraid of going to hell. Spirituality is for those who've already been there. Ooh, that's that's a quote I haven't heard before. Um, the fact that we have the confession and we have the cobra here, that's the part that I'm focusing on. But also um, that aspect of someone who's already been through hell. I feel like somebody has a lot to tell our Pisces. Now, granted, we could say, "Hi, Nina. Good to see you, beauty. Hi, everybody. Thanks for popping in." Um, Pisces, it was yesterday that I did a video, and I can't remember. I think it was the today's topic video for the 16th of February that specifically, I think Pisces kept coming up, and I said, I can't wait to do the Pisces video and see what happens. And right now, I can't remember what the context was of that other video, but it made me think and talk a lot about Pisces because Pisces repetitiously came up. So I don't know if this is going to have a link to that, but I just wanted to put that side note in. The fact that we have somebody needing to confess something and it's about where they've been, what they've been through. And the fact that we got a cobra there, I mean, this person dealt with somebody that was snake-like. Let's see. Ooh. We've got a 9 of Swords sideways. So they're no longer in a state of tremendous distress, but they definitely were at one point. If anything, it may be distressing for them to recount the tale of whatever the confession is that they need to tell Pisces about. What is this about? I mean, to have the 9 of Swords sideways, it is difficult for them to say what needs to be said. We have the World in the reverse. So something about, I'm hearing that song right now, Il Mondo by Jimmy Fontana, or Jimmy Fontana. A great song. It's it's sung in Italian, and it is very much like, it's a heartbreak. It's like what happens when the world stops turning because love has ceased. But then we also have this Page of Cups in the reverse. I feel like their greatest stress is all the delays, all the things that they were unable to change, all of the obstacles, the things that there's no way they could even begin to apologize for. But if we look closely, this little fella has their hands tied no matter what. It's like the best they could have done was to say, I'm sorry, but my hands are tied. And so I'm guessing that they chose not to do that. Specifically, it's the Pisces that they wanted to say sorry to. Now, this World card, we see a feminine playing the we'll call it the harp, even though there's probably a name for this specific Egyptian instrument. To me, this almost feels like the I don't know if whomever they dealt with had some magical music that made everything come to a screeching halt. There's something kind of poetic about this whole story. Music factors in heavily. Maybe this character is going to find words of a song to quote in order to try to describe how they actually feel, because I think this is a lot for them to unpack, a lot for them to unload. How do you explain the things, what I wish I could have done, but even if I could have said sorry, I would have only been saying sorry that my hands are tied. I can't make a change in my life. The World card is reversed. I can't do the thing that I want to be able to do, and my hands are tied. And that's kind of like a weak position to be in. 10 of Wands with some sacred geometry and a 2 of Cups. Okay, so this is looking like this was a big old obstacle, and they're hoping with this 10 of Wands, they're hoping that there can be some kind of laying down of the burdens, or that Pisces would give them some kind of understanding, because they feel like Pisces is their other half. Pisces is like there's magic between them. Like the only person who understands me is Pisces, but will they understand this of all things? How can I be a Two of Cups to my Pisces, but have been unable to change anything, to have been unable to explain that my hands were tied? There's the like desperate hope that these burdens will be able to be released, but they don't. They're under pretty big duress with all of this confession. Um, Tell me about this. Now, this could be not about what has happened, but what is currently happening for these characters. We've got an Ace of Wands. We got the Temperance. Well, remarkably, I would say, first off, there's no lack of love. This could indicate that there is passion and desire, in fact, and there is a sense of understanding. Sag energy coming in with our Temperance. Um, this is starting to look like either Pisces is going to handle this news very well and say, I understand, but um, Bob Seger is in my mind now. We got tonight. Who needs tomorrow? We got tonight, babe. Why don't you stay? Sorry, I had to say all that to get to the title. This feels kind of like, well, let's take what we've got then. It feels like the response is, unless that is their offer, is all I can offer is this. I don't think so. This is balanced. I feel like they're both feeling the same way. We got the Ace of Swords in the reverse. We got the Four of Pentacles, and yet it does not happen. Those words are not spoken. There's a mutual understanding that let's grab what happiness we can. We both want to have what we can have, even if it's not the way we wanted it to be. But those words are never spoken. So there's this great holding back. Why? I mean, not saying that's right or wrong. I go, why? But I'm just to understand the character's motives. A Queen of Pentacles and Ace of Pentacles. Because for these characters, I think they both know that a little bit won't be enough anyway. And you notice how this Queen of Pentacles actually holds the Libra scales out in one hand, and then her Ace of Cups in the other hand. She's saying, I won't, and this could be coming from our Pisces, or maybe this is them not putting forth the offer that's burning through both of their minds. Like, even if we're blocked from being together, but we love each other, can we at least have one night together or something like that? And that wording doesn't come out of anybody's mouth, because it's like, no, we want to not sully anything. We don't want to accrue negative karma. We don't want there to be imbalance. We'd rather be able to start fresh when we can, to give it everything we've got when we can, but we can't blur lines. It's like two things have to be kept separate. We cannot blur lines. Hey, everybody. We got the High Priestess in the reverse, and they both understand this also. There's a lot of wordless communication here, because it's like, anyway, one night's not going to be enough for these two. That's not all they want. These two want the real deal. Okay, I don't see what the obstacle is, other than the world in the reverse says it's not the right time. It can't happen right now. My hands are tied. Let me go back to that, and let me change decks, because here's the thing. These characters are both like taking the high road, I suppose we could say. Like they're staying true to the fact that they don't want it to just be a little bit of time together. They want the real deal when they can do this right. So they're, exhibiting a lot of self-control on one hand. Now, the flip side of that could be, yeah, but life is short, and should we grab what happiness we can when it presents itself to us? But these two are like, no, this matters more to me. I don't want it to be one flash in the pan, because that would almost, I think, what it seems like for these characters is that would almost make them both worry, like, okay, well, we got that out of our system. I guess now we don't have to like continue to try to fight for this. And I don't think either one of them wants to plant that thought in the other's head. But the fact that they are exhibiting so much self-control and staying so true to what they authentically want makes me think, I want to fight for these two. So let's get the universe involved. Universe, weigh in on this. We got the Princess of Pentacles. We got the Seven of Wands. The universe is like, yes, there are obstacles, and they're going to have to find solutions. Just because we find love doesn't mean that it's supposed to just be like, oh, super easy. Um, the Princess of Pentacles says somebody's going to come up with an idea here. Now, this could be a complicated situation where someone is about to have a baby with somebody else, and it's like, I can't believe this, and now I've met you. This is not a cheating situation at all, but we could take this literal and we could say someone's about to have a child. I don't think so. This is the pregnant of possibility, the idea of how do we overcome the struggle. And the universe is like, you come up with a plan. You look at the struggle, you look at the obstacle for what it is, and then you brainstorm. Wanting something motivates us to find a way to get it. Finding a way to get it is good critical thinking skills. Testing one's passion and desire and how much drive do they really have makes this come into focus. I really want to be with you. So I'm going to find a way because this passion I have for you is not just a one night kind of fling. It's not that. This is not an overnight thing, as Percy Sledge would say. We got a Prince of Cups in the reverse, and we got the Two of Swords in the reverse. And that's what they're going to be tested on. This is like somebody is, when I say somebody, I'm going to say possibly the divine masculine, only because that's what we have on both of these cards, is going to come and get really, really clear that they've got to find a way through this obstacle because they really want their Pisces. And the reason I would say this is because this is my least favorite knight out of this particular deck, because this is Eros or Cupid. And a Knight of Cups can be really great, but in this deck it says it's just somebody who falls in love with the honeymoon phase, but it doesn't really have staying power. They get off on that high. What I think is it's going to be revealed is the fact that these two cannot come into a union, and the fact that they're both choosing not to try to at least have one night of passion means as they part ways, seemingly for who knows how long, I think that's going to put the drive and the determination in possibly the divine masculine to say, I have to find a solution because this is not an overnight thing. I'm positive. This is not something that's going to go away. This is not a feeling that's like, oh, if only I could get some passion with them, then I could get them out of my system. And they're very sure of this. They're not, they grew up all of a sudden. This is like an example of, when love really hits and it changes us, it changes what we're willing to do. Sometimes we can say, oh, it's too hard, I can't possibly do it. And then when we say, I have to, I mean, when we think of, okay, I'll give this example. At one point in time of my life, I lived 4 hours away from my family, and other times I've lived, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of miles away from family, but I lived 4 hours away at one point. So it was an 8-hour trip, round trip. And we'd had a loss in the family, and I really needed to see my family more frequently, I felt. And so I would get off work at 6 o'clock and I would drive 4 hours for a hug, and I would turn around and drive 4 hours back and be ready to go to work the next morning. Those were some rough months. I didn't sleep much. But before, if you'd said, well, can you just drive 8 hours right after a shift? I've been like, well, no, that's crazy. But when you have to do it, and when you do it for love, all of a sudden you'd find a way to do it. That's kind of what this is. When you need to do it because it's real, you find a way to do the impossible. Is it impossible? No. As long as there's that many hours in a day, I can do without sleep. I can do it. Yeah, I got to do it. And then you don't even think about it. You just make it happen. That's where these two had to get to. Once again, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, this person's getting obsessed, absolutely obsessed with getting back to their Pisces keeps showing up as a Queen of Pentacles. It doesn't matter if Pisces is masculine or feminine. It's just Pisces seems to be the one that is in one location and grounded. They seem to be the one who needs to get to the Pisces. And they have become, yes, lust is the main driving factor, but that's not all it is. They know that, but they are obsessed with getting to return to Pisces. So maybe these two knew each other at a distance. Maybe these two where it's just like a change in lifestyle in order for them to be able to be with the Pisces. They're very obsessed with this at this point in time, from what I can see. Tell me about that Devil card. Prince of Pentacles. Again, this is a great example of when our passion for something drives um, decision making. This is still maybe in the beginning phase, and this could still take time, but they're already investing in making their way toward their Pisces. This is a moving night as well. And this is consistency. And this is, I'm doing this. I know right where I want to be. I'm taking one step in front of the other. I've got a plan. My journey is this. And I really think that they needed to get this solid, that nothing else will do. I have to get back to my Pisces. And I will say this, because passion is a big motivator here, and because neither they nor Pisces gave in to the desire for passion, I think that's kind of like another thing spurring them onward. It's, I think there's a lot of fantasizing going on. Four of Wands, but they want like the Pisces to have and to hold. This is a marriage card for me, a marriage of the spiritual context. I really think that this character is going to make the changes so that they stay. When they come back into Pisces world, they're not going anywhere. They're not going to be budged. How does Pisces feel about that? Temperance in the reverse, Queen of Wands in the reverse. They're afraid to hope for it. If anything, I think that Pisces is possibly sitting over here with this like flagging belief in this connection. Actually, they feel unsettled, and they feel like, I don't know if there's a karmic involved, but it's starting to look like that. Like, yeah, right. It's not going to happen because they'll never be away from their karmic, or the karmic's not going to let them go. Which is kind of, okay, let me weigh in on this. I think that's ridiculous because every sovereign adult can make their own choices. Nobody can hold you. Not really. I mean, you have freedom to leave relationships when you don't want them anymore. I think anything aside from that is an excuse. Well, I can't go because X, Y, or Z. No, you don't have the courage to go. Put it into perspective. But Pisces is kind of in this not super believing energy that this is going to happen. So this character is so much more obsessed, and they're ready to do this and make plans for it. And Pisces is like, I'm sure it's not going to happen. We got the World in the reverse. Once again, Pisces says it's just a giant blockage. They're not really going to change, and they're certainly not going to come from me. King of Wands, Prince of Cups. If they do, it'll just be to have a little bit of passion with me, and then they'll dip out. Pisces still expects that at some point they're going to try to just have passion. So Pisces still feels the bond to them, but they don't have the confidence that somebody would be coming for them and changing and doing the honorable thing and making the necessary changes. Hold on. Universe, weigh in on that. Because my heart hurts for my Pisces right now, because I'm like, why don't they think somebody would do that for them? We have a Two of Pentacles. We have a Five of Pentacles. We got the King of Pentacles. Remember, all along, Pisces has shown up as a Queen of Pentacles. Their karmic situation seems to be a king and a queen environment, but the universe weighs in and says, Pisces, there is a balance in all of this. Without Pisces in their life, it's a dismal place. This person wants to be a King of Pentacles. They want to be a part of Pisces world. But they do have to be able to be balanced enough to be that, to play that role with Pisces. So this is kind of like the gentle reminder that this person is missing Pisces just as bad, that there's a big gap in their life without the Pisces in it, because this is who they want to be, is the King of Pentacles. Pisces doesn't quite believe that. Let me ask why. We've got the Knight of Wands, and we got the Three of Swords in the reverse, because Pisces still keeps trying to almost protect their heart and say, it was probably just passion. Sometimes people say stuff, but they don't really mean it. Maybe Pisces has known a few too many Knights of Wands in their lifetime. So they're like, people say all kinds of beautiful flowery things, but then, it's just in the heat of the moment, and then it doesn't really add up to anything. And I think Pisces wants to keep telling them that themselves that so they don't have the broken heart of getting their hopes up and then having it crushed, which is totally understandable because until somebody actually does the thing that needs to be done, you don't know what somebody's going to do. You don't know if they're trustworthy. You don't know if they're going to, follow through or if they're going to, put their energy where they claim it is. And so I think that that makes a lot of sense. But universe, weigh in on this person. Three of Cups. They, when I said again and again in this, it seems like, wow, everything got orange in here, didn't it? Is it just me or did it get orange in here? I feel like this Three of Cups is the evidence of, like, Pisces is their motivation. This desire to have happiness, this desire to come together in, unity and joyful unity at that is their driving force. So it's not, um, I think that they actually are getting jazzed about their plan because they can envision being with Pisces again, which is another thing. Like, when a character decides, no, I'm doing this, I'm passionate about this, I have to make this work, they are actually in a happier energy. And then Pisces on the other side is like, oh, totally like little deflated energy, thinking it's never going to happen because they're not the ones in control of making the steps forward. It's the other person. But maybe that's the way it's supposed to be because it gives, how do I say this nicely? It gives low expectations, which means when something wonderful happens, it's going to be even more wonderful. Um, what's the outcome for these two? Ace of Cups, Two of Cups. Okay, so it's a wrap. We just got the Two of Cups again. Um, I do feel like, by the way, as far as these characters go, I feel like the Pisces is far more attractive than they give themselves credit for. Um, their beloved could be a lot. There could be a big difference, whether that's size, like we see in this, like one person could be way taller or shorter than the other, or this could represent the differences in their cultures. It could represent the differences in their lives, like how their lives have gone. It could be socioeconomic standing. It could be just about anything. But I feel like this person wants to be in Pisces life and like protect the Pisces and be Pisces like man or woman. Like they want to be in a genuine union where it's not just for a minute. It's the big cup of love, but they want Pisces to give their big cup of love. And they know Pisces will not do it unless, it's like, I'm here, I'm staying. Now Pisces feels like, okay, I will give all of me to this. Is that John Legend? It's all of me loves all of you. Anyway, nice story for Pisces. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Good to see you. Rach, you're adorable. You're not just pretty cute, you're adorable. You guys are gorgeous. Thank you for being here. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Lana. Homesick for Hills. Charcoal Sket, Ms. Hermit. I love Rimmel. There, I'm sorry. I was trying to run your name all together. You guys are lovely. Thank you for being here. Bye again. Bye, Nina. I'll see you guys in the next one.